Stairs?
¿Eh? Ajá. Bueno, justo acá no hay ninguna de nosotras son de Mendoza. Pero los varones hay varios de Mendoza que se están tirando a jugar allá. Es huevo, es corazón, es la bandera. Por eso nos motiva porque si bien estamos creciendo mucho en el deporte, estos son potencias.
Good evening, everybody, or good morning. I don't know what time it is back in the UK. I can barely remember what day it is here. I think it's Monday. Monday. So, final game of the day. We have the GB Men's Masters team playing against the Australian Men's Masters team. This is the first time these two teams have met since the final that they played in Stellenbosch. Winners on that occasion were the Australians. Run through the lineup for Great Britain. We have no idea where my team sheets are anymore. Argentina, RSA. I'll try and do it from memory. We'll see how well that goes. Doing it from memory. Let's see. Number two, Alistair Hickey. Number 3, Richard Adams. Number 4. I don't quite know number 4. Oh, Australia started to break there, but we're going to cut back as there has been interference in the play. Oh, yeah, of course, it's Budgie. Right, really quick going through the team names. Okay, number 2, Alistair Hickey. Number 3, Richard Adams. Number 4, Lee Beard. Number 5, Josh Greenall. Number 6, Carl Speed. Captain Carl. Number 7, Phil Thompson. Number 8, Tomek Chiswinski. Number 9, Jethro McCartney. Number 12, Kai Waters. And number 13, Vincent Perron. Sitting out now is Andrew Stillwell and Hayden Pitchforth. Starting lineup for Australia, we've got Reece Quilford, Shane Blackham, number 2, number 3, Hamish Ride, number 4, Jacko Smith, number 5, Jason Mintz, number 6, Philip Ankerman, number 7, Ryan Heckenberg, number 8, Gareth Mann, number 10, Peter McGovern, number 11, Andrew Dunlop, 13, Juan Castono, and number 14, David Sutcliffe. Breaking there, called on the Australians, so this is going to be a second advantage puck for Great Britain. The puck's going to be moved onto the 5 centre line. Quite a few familiar faces for me in the Australian team. I met Reece, Jason and Phil. We were all out in the Manila Invitational, so I don't know if any of the Filipinos are up, but quite a few people you'll recognise in this game. So, yeah, timeout called on the surface by Chief Referee Daniel Close of Germany, saying that he's seen an illegal substitution and he would like one of the Australians to come out and sit on the side. So Great Britain presented with a very early opportunity to have a 6-on-5. It's number 13. So it's Juan Castano of Australia who's going to serve the 1-minute time penalty for his team as we go underwater. Nice flick forward. Going to the far side of the tin. Australia going to try and defend the back wall. Great Britain ideally would have liked to go more centrally there, but forced wide. As the puck now finds its way out to the barrier side wall. It's Australia who go and retrieve it, trying to just control the tempo of the game, run down the clock for Juan. His time ticks down, he's going to near the 30 seconds. As now Great Britain take it off the wall, might have been done illegally. And that's believed to do so, making more contact with the stick than the puck, so he's going to get driven back. GB are going to... Shut up, Dawson. GB are going to have to defend here as Australia take it to the wall side underneath their substitutes bench. 10 seconds left on the penalty clock for Juan. Nice drive being formed by the Australian Masters team. Going down that wall. GB with the bodies down, you can just see, looks like Phil Thompson might be there at the top, just seeing over everything, planning his time to come down and deploy the iron lung. Stoppage in the play here, indicated by the referee on the far side. And barging down the wall, and it's going to be an advantage puck to Great Britain. In their defensive end, about 7 metres out. 8 metres out from their own goal tray, and they're going to try and have a drive now. Interesting to see whether they're going to try and bring it into the middle or continue down that right side. Looks like they're going down that right side as we look at the camera. Making their way now, getting in front of the Australian box. Referee's seen something. Jean there, the referee from Belgium, indicating she's seen a barge, and she's pointing at the player and sending him out already. Interesting early on with these chuckouts. Obviously, the first one by Juan was for an illegal substitution. This now as an obstruction or barging foul, and it's number 4 who's been sent out. That's Jacko Smith for Australia. So Great Britain handed another opportunity here to try and take the advantage early in this game. 5 minutes gone. Still moving down that far side. Puck locked on the wall. Australia trying to break it off. Great Britain ideally here looking for the 45. And that's the flick that comes, but unfortunately no GB player aware to it. As Australia now have chance in the middle of the pool. He's got players either side, left and right. He opts to cut left. Releases the puck nicely. And that cut there just brought the GB players back into the game. It was a nice move, but probably better if he was to continue to play out wide and really stretch the GB defence and cutting all the way to the right-hand side before cutting back in left. He did have a support there, so he had the option to release it to another guy. He could have gone up and got a breath and then dropped down. For those of you that played at Batley, you'll remember cheeky breaths. Play still lodged on that far wall, but long period of the game here, so nice to see that, you know, we're playing advantage for fouls that may be occurring, or the play's just really open as we try and go through the middle. But it's Australia who cut back inside, and now another dangerous drive. Those dummies being sold really well by the Australians, moving the puck nicely in the middle. So opting to play their better hockey in the middle of the pool and just choosing to neutralise the puck on the wall when they're down with a few players to the Great Britain power play. Here goes Juan now on the far side, number 13 for Australia. And it's Phil Thompson who tries to force the puck through, but he's unlucky and isn't able to do so as he now pops up for a breath. And Australia have a nice swim on the 45. This looks like Jason Mainz. And he gets the puck across to number 11, which is Andrew Dunnett. Trying to force away back inside, beating Lee Beard there, and then the support coming straight away. And it's well won back there by Al Hickey. Al Hickey has a player inside, but it's knocked down well. Not able to control the possession there, Jason Mainz. So that Great Britain now have a chance to break, supported well by Tomek. Lee Beard has the puck, not able to see Tomek, and it's Australia who regain possession. Number 3 there, Hamish Ride, now breaking down through the middle of the pool. In the centre of the pool, making sure the puck stays in the centre, waiting for that support. Knocked down really well there by Lee Beard, just watching that lateral pass, and he's not able to keep it away from number 11, Andrew Dunlop. As Australia's still on this drive, very dangerous looking. GB getting the bodies down. Nice block there in the centre of the park. Flick past Lee Beard, might have hit his arm there. Plays continued as we have Vincent Perron, who's just entered the play, trying to beat number 2, Shane Blackburn. Trying to play out to the right. This is Phil Thompson, just trying to take his time and stay down the puck, finding Kai Waters. Kai Waters, slowest dummy I've ever seen, but he goes round the player into the centre. Australia trying to pressure the GB boys to get into the centre. Captain Carl's into the play. He's on the inside for Kai. And I think the controller there for the Xbox just saying it's run out of battery, and we're going to have a advantage puck to the Australians here. Australia here with the advantage puck. You can see Juan going down, and noticeable figure number 13 in the centre, mainly because of his long hair. Trying to break through the centre. We might just lose display of the pitches here. That looks like a stick foul there by Jethro McCartney, and I think that's getting pulled up straight away. Yeah, very obvious there. No real attempt to play the puck by Jethro, so unfortunately he's getting kicked out in the bin, so he's going to be out there for a good minute. Jethro seeing a lot of penalty time this competition. very evenly matched here. The final was lost by Great Britain, 10-0, but a very different Australian team here that's representing the Masters is number 6, Phil Ackerman, tries to take the puck through the middle. We have a stoppage into play. So it's the referee at the front of the play who's given this, and it's in favour of Australia, so they'll advance further down the pool. Might have been a breaking call there, but nobody quite going across with the camera for me to be able to pick that up. Sorry, just adjusting the level of my mic, seeing it was going quite high. And we're underway once again. This time, the puck fired in, beating the onrushing Vincent Perrault. And Phil Thompson there unable to get out of that gap. Richard Adams tries to get in on the play, making contact with the puck there, so it's going to be interesting to see. Well, we've got a player here for Australia being given a warning. Just communicating there with the referee. Don't quite know who number 5 is. You know, you can come and join me if you want. As long as you don't complain about my reffing in your Ladies Masters game, I'm not too bothered. A couple of days ago against Colombia, you drew 1-1. Yeah, just introduce yourself to the people listening at home. I'm joined by one of the Australian Ladies Masters players.
Jasmine Mann for Australia's Masters.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a good game. 0-0 in the first half, 4 minutes to go.
Black timeout, and Jasmine, a familiar face to me. She, like a few of this men's Australian Masters team, we played against each other in the Manila Open competition hosted in the Philippines by the Polo Puck Pirates. There you go. You've got a bit of a plug there. So I think another Manila competition coming up in 2019 should be. I don't know if that's... Yeah, so I think Misha's wedding is in October, because I think Buddy's going out to that, and then hopefully that's going to be later. And tried to say, Buddy was trying to say, well, can you not just put them close to each other, then we can do the invitational followed by the wedding, and it cost me less in flights.
Sounds like a good idea. Oh, look.
GB just trying to get control of this game. They had an early dominance, and then Australia have been looking the better team throughout the last 5 minutes. We've got just over 4 to go here in the first half. Australia just sticking to the middle, trying to break through. They've found a bit of space to swim. Guy going over the top, but it's cut out well there, just taking too long. He's swimming with his head up and not seeing the oncoming defender. Nice flick into the middle.
Looking for support.
Yeah, just unable to get that inside flick off in time before going too wide. Just lost the angle for the drive on the goal, but it looks like this is going to be first blood to Australia. I'll have to look over to see if that's the signal being given. Yes, it has been given as a goal, and it's number 3. It's Hamish Ride who's got that opening goal for Australia. 3 minutes 40 left in the first half. Australia 1, Great Britain 0.
You are so good at this. I can barely keep up.
So how are you finding adapting to the 3 meters? If I'm right in saying you're the reigning women's Masters World Champions from Stellenbosch?
We won in 2013 in Hungary, and we won 2016 in... yes, we won in 2013 in Stellenbosch and in Hungary. So hope to bring the trophy back again this time.
And how are you adapting to the 3 meters here?
Oh, from my little home club in Margaret River at 1.2 meters, this is slightly different.
Doubly different.
Doubly different.
Doubly and a half different. What?
Yes.
1.2, 2.4, and 6. Yeah, 2.5 times more difficult for you.
Oh, look, there's Gareth Mann trying to weasel his way in. Oh, no, didn't get it.
Nice responsive drive put here by GB, straight off a strike. There's Kai Waters.
Australia needs some more people on the bottom there to keep that out.
Yeah, just the numbers not there for Kai to be able to get off a pass, so he's giving that straight back to Australia. As number 8 there was Gareth Mann trying to get out of his defensive end. Here goes Kai, trying to get through, change his body position. Quite nimble for such a tall guy.
It's Hamish setting it out. It's Gareth Mann trying to take it down the wall.
Yeah, Gareth here against Phil Thompson. Phil Thompson just trying to stay still and just conserve that breath. He's got his Lee Beard, his teammate from Manchester, comes in onto the puck. But we've got a stoppage in the play now. I think that's a free arm call there against Gareth. You just saw him putting his arm up against the barrier and just not letting Phil Thompson come through. Phil Thompson, in fairness to him, didn't make too much of an effort to try and come through, so I thought there'd be a bit more leniency there by the referees, because he wasn't putting any pressure on his arm not really giving him a significant advantage. Lee Beard down, ready to take the free puck. The buzzer has gone. Takes his time and does a dummy before he tries to flick it through. That flick's gone straight through to number 5, Jason Mines. But Great Britain still with the possession. There's Al Hickey trying to get the play through. Got to be careful here. We've got a stoppage, so there might have been an advantage played, yes. An illegal knockdown signal there by Jean from Belgium. They'll now set up another advantage puck. Unlike on a breaking call, this puck's going to stay on the same area, most likely, 5 and 2. And Great Britain are going to try and head this in on the 45. Bit more of a quick response here this time by Lee Beard. Lee Beard trying to go through the bats without flick. He's pushing his way into the centre. Dangerous looking flick there in by Al Hickey. Referee says it's okay as it comes out now to Ryan Heckenberg. Cutting back inside, but teammates coming down for Ryan. Here's number 5, it's Jason Mines. And GB just trying to get some space to swim in, but it's being pulled back here. And it's going to be a GB advantage. Play just not allowed to continue. Jen signalling that she was playing an advantage, but nothing was there before GB had that swim. Lee Beard again with the puck, so not able to get fresh bodies in, being so far down the pool and away from the GB bin. GB just using their fitness that they train on all through the year. Using the my zones, which are a key part of the GB criteria now. Phil Thompson there, he's surely going to go out for the stick tackle there, even though he's gone past, and this is possibly going to get pulled back, and very disappointing with that call there from the referee. Phil was always going to go out for that tackle. He's not made any attempt to get the puck, and he's hit the guy's elbow. But Ryan Heckenberg, he's still swimming there. He's making great ground down the pool, and then there's another guy coming in trying to put on another foul. They just need to let him go and come back to that foul later. Just let the play really open up. And I know so much about this because this has been my feedback as what I need to do as a referee.
No, it's a good call, absolutely. And players like to keep playing the game, so if we can play advantage, it's always a good option.
Yeah, so once again, the GoFundMe page for the guys who sort the cameras and update all the code and try and make everything work around here, including when people break the camera. I'm not. 2 people have broken it today. It's not me. The Argentines don't have a valid driver's license anymore. I occasionally get handed the control, and he has to think twice. But he's seen me today. I've been very responsible, staying between the end blue lines. But apparently, these pieces of kit which keep breaking, it's $50 a pop. $30 a pop, and there's 5 of them sitting behind me. So I'm sat in front of $150 worth of camera operating kit. So if we can get a percentage of that back, that'd be great. So what are your thoughts on the game so far, Jasmine?
It's really tight. Both teams are working really hard. It looks like Australia's doing a lot of defensive work there. Let's hope they can open it up this time, get some 45 switches, and find each other and run the pool, really.
So it's kind of clear looking at these 2 teams that there's 2 completely different game strategies that are being put in place. Great Britain seem to be more content and happy to try and come out down the walls and break in off the 45 on the last sort of moments. Initially, I thought that was a similar setup for the Australians, but with them being down to 5 players in the water during a lot of that early stage, it turns out they were just taking it to their own subs bench so that they can run down the penalty clock and get the fresh players in. What we're seeing towards the end of that second half, when the Australians were trying to close the game, they're trying to break in on the 45 much sooner, so maybe get 7-8 meters out from their own goal, and then they're trying to move in the middle and just continue their flow of players and drive through centrally, and it's drawing a lot of fouls from GB the way that they're moving the puck, Jasmine.
Yeah. The war game's not really an Australian thing, but I think you have to do what you have to do when there's only 5 players in, and defensive game is definitely the option, and on your sub bench is definitely a really good idea.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see some more of these, especially like the Masters level teams. The Masters level teams seem to be able to put on, they've been in the game for a fair while, and they are passing on, their own experiences to one another, and they know how to manage a game really well. And there's a lot of very experienced coaches throughout the the rest of the hockey, but the one I've been most impressed with so far at this World Championships is Gregory Appling, who is the USA Men's Elite coach. I've refereed on a few of his team games, and I know how sort of erratic he is as a coach and trying to get the attention of the referees. And some people would mistake the way that he shouts across to his players in the sin bin, trying to find out how much longer they've got in penalty time. He's just trying to find out what strategy you can put in place for his teams, where to go on the advantage pucks, exactly what he needs to be doing. As we see an illegal knockdown there by number 14, David Sutcliffe, but are we going to see if this flick's dangerous? It's going to be one of the two. Camera looking the wrong way.
Is that a Nintendo Game Boy?
So yeah, it's an Xbox 360 controller that they've hooked up, and so the toggles at the back and what steer it left and right. So that's what sends it along the rope under the boom. And then he's got the left stick, which normally for gamers is a movement stick. That's what pans the camera left and right. So my first couple of tries on that equipment, I was doing it all wrong because I was moving the right toggle. But yeah, so it's again, it from the outside, it looks like there's all these different pieces that have been mashed together, and it's really interesting to see just how these guys have been able to come up with this system.
Really
which
impressed.
Yeah, exactly, and it's bringing us some of the best coverage we've had.
I know.
Well, the best that I've seen it. I've only been to 3 World Championships, and I've watched a few more. But yeah, it's some really good footage, and it's something that the game definitely needed.
Absolutely.
So it looks like.
What's happening there?
Well, there's still 6 in the water for each team. Oh, sorry, 5 because. Phil Thompson's out. So the deeming, that flick. So it was knocked down there by David Sutcliffe, but Phil Thompson with the flick rather high, hitting him high up as he's trying to turn, and them saying that it wasn't a controlled flick and can be viewed as dangerous. So Phil Thompson sat out on the side in a very usual, comfortable position for Phil. By the end of this World Championships, you never know. There'll be a little groove in there that he fits.
A little bottom to sit nicely in, yes. Let's see if Australia can take advantage of 5 players.
Interesting. So, despite that dangerous flick, the referee's also seeing something, but Great Britain taking the advantage here.
Is that usual?
So trying to go down the wall. Looked like Al Hickey was using his glove to advance it down the wall there. As we now see the puck come out to number 14, David Sutcliffe. GB putting the pressure on with 5. Richard Adams there just trying to initiate him to make the flick. That's the captain there, Reese Quilford. And now breaking across the pool.
Run.
Taking it well away from Phil Thompson to stop him from getting in.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
I don't know, but he's pretty quick. Luckily, GB with some quick players of their own trying to get back there. Looks like it's number 7. Looks like that was Ryan Heckenberg. Just noticeable because I know that Phil Thompson's the number 7 for GB and he was out on the side of the pool, so the only logical answer is number 7 is Ryan Heckenberg. And that was a beautiful little swim by him, really going from this near side wall where the camera is, doing a nice 45 off and going all the way around to the other end. If it wasn't for the pressure there by the GB player not giving up, then he would have been able to come in and he'd have made the edge of that tin. But just the way that he stuck with him, wasn't allowing him to turn that corner just quite as sharply, forced him out to the side. And yet Phil Thompson's about to get in here. The camera will just pass and he'll probably dash straight across the centre of our picture here. Play moving nicely for GB as it looks like this type of swim made by Lee Beard, maybe Joss. And he's driving for the corner. Big flick. Oh, and it's a beautiful flick. And who was that with the flick? It looks like it could have been Lee Beard. It was Lee Beard. It's number 4. It's Budgie. So Manchester players showing just exactly what they can do if they're actually in the water rather than the sin bin. Fantastic swim there, just showing Ryan Heckenberg how it's done. So maybe try better next time, Burgers.
That was a shame. It's a shame that Australia couldn't take advantage there in the corner with only 5 players. Oh, they need to rip it out and take it round.
Really quite interesting because GB had a play similar today where they had a beautiful move, got all the way down to the opposing wall. One defender stopped it, and then the counter-attack is what made them concede a goal.
Yes.
So it's Great Britain who have now had a bit of a momentum boost, and they're now trying to drive down that far side wall. Play just being contained now as both teams try and enforce their strategies. As GB tried to come off on the 45. Australia putting the puck where they want in the centre of the pool.
Keep hold of it.
Yeah, Gareth Mann there coming across the pool. Lays the puck off to Philip Ankerman.
That's one. Can take it through the middle. Reese Crawford there.
Yeah, very experienced player, Reese. How many medals has he got now?
I think he's done 10 worlds and has about 7 golds. Jason Measy's there, number 5. He's done about 9 worlds and has about 8 golds.
Yeah,
there's a long history of hockey there.
Indeed. The only other name that I can think comes even close to those type of numbers is Melanie Johnson, who plays for the Canadian Women's Elite Team. She's been at 9 worlds. I met her last year in Vancouver at the University of BC.
Wow.
And we were talking there and shared a few stories. As we now have another stoppage into play, and it looks like there's a referee who is playing advantage. That looks like
it's against Australia.
Yeah, this is going against Australia. Oh, I figured out who number 5 is. It's Alexander. Alexander, the French referee there, just calling for a referee's timeout. How many, Joe? I need numbers. I need hard facts. I also know Fee Kirkby, who sat at home. She's been in quite a few worlds for GB, starting at under 19 open level, playing and getting her first gold medal with the Great Britain Open under 19s team. And the story she's told me from that is that the head coach at the time, and the head coach has told me, that's Dave Bailey. He's had a few boys that have come up through the GB Elite, and he's coached a lot of GB teams in his time. He said that he had to make a very tough call, and he didn't play Fiona in that final. The team then went on to win, and Fee's words to him at the end were, "I'm never going to get dropped for a final again." And she's gone on to win numerous more golds, 3 more gold medals, and a silver. And the silver came in Egger, and since then she's had a few years out, and she's now got 2 beautiful children. Lucy, who's really into her underwater hockey, cheers on Daddy in her chair, and the other one, the latest arrival is it Alex? I think I want to say it's Alex. Alex, he likes to sleep through Daddy playing underwater hockey, so Budgie needs to do some more exciting things like those swims to keep him up. I'm sure he's not up now at this time back in the UK, approaching nearly midnight. GB still with the dominance here in the second half, but that flick cut out. It was a nice idea. There wasn't a GB bat on the other side, but it's being taken out and it's going towards the corner. Australia trying to just, steady the ship and find a way out after this long sustained pressure by GB. And just notice that Juan's out again. He's been out for a 2-minute penalty.
Already
and
in
he's
this game?
got 60. Yeah, he was at I think he took one for the team. He took the illegal substitution penalty. Sends someone out and Juan just goes, "I'll go."
Anything for a rest.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be so corny to say that he'd take Juan for the team, but you're not meant to laugh. You're really not meant to laugh. Look at Nathan. Nathan knew well to not laugh at that joke. You don't laugh at my jokes.
Crikey.
Oh, I got a crikey as well. That'll do. Oh, and you can just hear, I think, I don't know if there's anyone on this camera, but it'd be good if we could have a look across and see the crowd supporting GB, because I can hear the GB Elites.
Take it out.
The GB Elite women giving it the na. GB in the goal. Referees saying it's an equal puck here. Nathan, are the elites up there, both sets of elites up there, or is it just the women's elite? I can hear the GB fans.
I can see just a few.
Thanks, Damien, for confirming it is Alex. GB win off the 50-50 puck.
Right.
That's Richard Adams facing the wrong way and just staying down, seeing where the puck's going as Gareth Mann tries to come to the outside. Juan has re-entered the play. Yeah, both sets are up there, so there's both sets of elite, the GB elite men and the GB elite women. As we have Jos Greenall trying to get through there. Looks like he was battling against a Finn. And we're going to have a look. And who's this that's getting sent out? It's an Australian who's being sent out. Number 11, Andrew Dunlop, as Australia now just take their time out. Just clutching his chest there as if he took a kick, as Argentine referee Bruno with a smiley face on his right leg just goes and manages his time penalty. Timeout for the Australians. We are 3/4 of the way through this game. 7 minutes and 43 seconds left on the clock after this timeout. So 2 minutes for Andrew, and that's a nice considerable time for GB to try and force something in here off this advantage puck. We're likely to see the Australians, if they get possession, try and take it to the wall. 2 minutes a much longer time to defend in that style, just putting it on the wall rather than the 1 minute penalty. So it will be interesting to see if they use a different tactic here, Jasmine.
Your guess is as good as mine.
So we've got 19 seconds left of a timeout. The referees and the players are all set to get back underway. As Daniel Close, the referee from Germany, indicates 15 seconds left, preparing the players and the coaches to exit the water. Pete Hodges had a quick chat with his boys and told them what he wants them to do, and this now the best opportunity so far in the second half for Great Britain to take control of this game and get the lead. Captain Carl there with the dummy, not fooling any of the Australians. As number 7 there, Ryan Heckenberg, tries to get out. Jos Greenall there of West Wickham battling away with number 4, Jacko Smith. GB boys down, so that's Jeffro and Jos there, just trying to go through. Great Britain don't want to give away a foul here. Don't be silly, don't get drawn to that puck and give away a foul in such a good offensive position. There's Richard Adams there trying to get the puck off the wall, but he's just swarmed by the Australians. Phil Thompson, however, controls the puck as Jason Mitz tries to get in and block him. Jason, I think, just losing a bit of his mass there as Phil Thompson tries to come through. Not given strictly as a barge, as this is Jason. This is Reese on the puck. Reese just almost getting caught in possession there as the GB player goes over the top.
Sorry, I can't comment. I'm too enthralled in the game.
We've got a stoppage here as the penalty for Andrew Dunlop reaches the minute stage. She's got to keep minding Jasmine because she's a bit quieter than me, but if she wants to speak, she needs to keep her mic in front of her face.
So sorry. I'm not doing a very good job here, Lewis. I'm just watching the game and I can't think of anything to say.
But that's good.
Oh,
one of the notes here is get engaged and get excited. So you're doing one of those things. I'll do the engaging bit.
I'm terrified I'll say something I shouldn't. Come on, Jason.
Yeah, very typical strong fill by Phil. Oh, and there's a chance for GB to get into some space. Needs to lose the puck to the inside here, Captain Carl, on that nice drive. Gives some time for Al Hickey to get up there, but Jason now some space to swim down the middle.
Find the space, boys.
A very juddery picture here, unusual. But we through that little bit of turbulence.
Come on. Pass back, let's go.
Oh, stoppage in play, so which way is this going to go? And it's another chuck out for the Australians.
Oh, no.
And Pete Hodge now, the Great Britain referee, Great Britain coach for the men's masters team, just saying, I want this time out. And it's number 7 who's being sent out for the Australians. So that's Ryan Heckenberg, who had that long swim a little bit earlier on. And me and Jasmine were talking about the Filipinos a little bit earlier. And when Phil played in the World Championships, which occurred in Eger, Hungary, and following the competition, and the Filipinos that met him and had to comment about him, his nickname from that competition became what is now known as Big Black Pete. So that name not quite sticking as much anymore. He's just head coach Phil Hodge. But that, we've got the Japanese at this competition who have already become and are fast favourites for the the most heartwarming team of the World Championships. And towards the back end of this competition, we're going to see just how well they can do against some of the nations like Portugal, Belgium, maybe Canada. Depends who's in those lower seeded games in that men's elite divisions. We're underway once again. Number 3, Hamish Ride now just trying to find a way through that GB defence. The Australians down to 4, but now back up to 5 after Andrew Dunlop's penalties expired. But Ryan Heckenberg with another 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. So Great Britain still with some opportunities. If they can find some space, they're going to have some space to swim. Swim, Tomic, swim. Not quite as easy as making Budgie swim. Go on, Budgie, stretch the legs.
Come on, let's go, get it out.
Good defence there by Andrew Dunlop, staying down nicely after that long enforced break. Great Britain, yes, really trying to keep away from the Australian subspin, not let them get those fresh bodies in the water. Lee Beard there just seeing that there's a player coming in and trying to lay it off to him, but he's tackled well. Breaking to the middle. It's number 4 there. It's Jacko Smith.
Possession, Jacko.
That's better, Jasmine. Piping up now.
That wasn't great. That was a flick to no one.
Yeah, and we're trying to get out here. Don't stop. Keep going, Phil. Keep going, Phil. Don't. Yeah, that's it. Oh, lovely little turn there. Beautiful bit of skill there by Budgie. It wasn't Budgie. Was that Kai? That might have been Kai. This is a nice looking drive, but Juan there just managing to take it out wide. See what the call is. This one, Alexander, the French referee, indicating stick foul, and it's going to be Australia with the advantage puck. Don't be surprised to see Australia head straight towards the camera and their teammate, who's Ryan Heckenberg, who's going to get in 10 seconds' time. Don't be surprised, but the Australians do the exact opposite of what I say. That's why I'm not their coach. 5 seconds to go on the time penalty. As GB now trying to get through the gap. Nice stick drop down there. There you see Heckenberg with his number 7 fins. Always helps the referee when you jazz up your fins with your number. Easier to chuck out. More identifiable tools, the better.
That's why we have players that are covering up our tattoos.
The New Zealand's a bit harder because they all wear naiads, or they all wear the Rukus with the New Zealand black and white fern on, which is a nice thing that the Rukus do, making an exclusive fin cover. Look, scary looking drive here by Australia, but it's dealt with really well there by the GB defender, who just takes it out to the side. That looks like Yoss there with his stereotypical finning style. Australia coming off on the 90, trying to drive straight towards the goal.
Sorry! Yay! Go Aussies! Sorry.
I hope you didn't have your headphones turned up too loud there, as Jasmine just deafens me next to her. That was Ryan Heckenberg with the goal, so proving that enforced rests do make a big difference.
Yay!
2 minutes 30 seconds left, including the 2-minute stop clock. You are no Nick Martin when it comes to commentary, but I can't deny you are a little bit more entertaining and definitely better to look at. So, you know, when we get webcams on here, maybe for the finals, the guys say maybe, then, you know, we might be a bit more selective about who gets in. They may not even let me in there. You don't know. It depends how good they think my commentary is.
You're fantastic, Lewis. You're holding it together. I'm really squealing and being useless. Apologies.
Stoppage in the play. We're into the last 2 minutes. 1 minute 50 seconds left on the play. And that looks like Luis, number 4. Yes, Luis was joining me in the commentary booth earlier for the Great Britain Elite Women versus Spain game. Knows a lot of Spanish, doesn't know a lot of English, and he's actually quieter than you. I don't mean when it's screaming, I just mean he's genuinely just very, very quiet. GB, straight line drive, nice flick and chase. Low flick and chase, cut out well by the Australians on the far side. 90-degree flick, trying to switch it round the back, doing what the Australians do best, but opting to go back to the outside. That's a typical French move when you watch the French play. Nice drive down into the corner. Australia just trying to see out the game. Experienced heads. No, don't give away a foul. Don't give them an opportunity. Make sure we keep all 6 players in the water. Great Britain going to have to be a little more desperate, but also they don't want to stop the clock too many times. They don't want to see players get sent out of his pool. Looking really good here, the drive by Australia, just moving it away from their goal as we enter the last 60 seconds. Australians down in numbers. GB, you can just see getting the fresh bodies in, trying to cut out this sweep. It is cut out. There's some space to swim. Space to swim down the middle. Let's break it to the left side. They're still going here. Still going, GB down in numbers.
Keep it out, boys.
45 seconds left to go. It's going into the corner. Great Britain have to keep it out of there if they want any chance from this game. Interesting to see which way this is going to go. Luis with the signal. Blocking against number 11. And it's an equal puck. Interesting, equal puck here. So all parties must start on the surface. 40 seconds to go in this Masters game. Great Britain looking to tie it up. Straight under, waiting for the buzzer. It goes.
Get down, get down.
It's Australia who get it first, but it goes straight into the GB bats. You can hear Jasmine with the coaching criteria.
Put it in the corner! Leave it there!
Put it in the corner, something the Spanish should have done yesterday against Great Britain, and they would have got a draw. I honestly couldn't believe it, how much I had to scream at the TV. And I was a GB guy, I wanted GB to score, but Spain needed to put it in the corner. Sensible hockey. Commentators are neutral. Oh,
Come
nice,
on,
nice
go
fierce
ahead.
drive here. Who's that? Is that Jason?
Mr. Hecken him back. That's Ryan. Big drive.
No, it is Ryan, yeah, I can see his sevens now.
Oh no.
I was going to say, I don't think Jason can move that fast. Jeffro trying to keep the play alive, and we're seeing time expire here. Really good game there. A great close contest between Australia and Great Britain. Sees the final score, Australia 2, Great Britain 1. And I think, I don't know how many of these games you've seen, Jasmine, but this Masters division, France look like the dominant team this year, but I think, well, I'm not saying you're playing for silver, but if you avoid France in the playoffs, you have some very closely matched teams here. Great Britain only lost to Canada by the 1 goal. They've lost to Australia by the 1 goal. They lost to South Africa by a couple. And 4 it might have been in the end. 3-1, 4-1 maybe it was the men's master score earlier. I can't quite remember. But yeah, really close game here. And like a lot of these divisions, it's really hard to see who is a favourite. Your division's so tight.
Yeah,
absolutely. The 4 teams there, USA, Australia, France and Colombia, very closely matched together there. And then you've got the Masters, as I've said, just wide open. And without seeing half of these teams experiencing there, then it's hard to tell. I'm going to go and I'm going to get some interviews. I'm going to let you go and scream and enjoy it with some of the Australians. Yes. So yeah, you have some dinner and I'll probably see you at some point tomorrow. Thanks, Jasmine, for all your input.
Lewis.
So, post-match interview, I've got Lee Beard here. If you can look up there, Lee, that's where the camera is. A really close game there between you and the Australians. And first of all, it's good to see you swimming. It's good to see you swimming, unlike your video on the Team GB page.
Yeah, well, the amount of grief I got, I thought it was about time I started using these legs of mine and put it into good stead there with a good goal. Hopefully it looked on the camera for people anyway.
Yeah, the noticeable comments were, it's amazing what a Manchester player can do when he's not in the sin bin. So Phil made it there in this match, but as a team, it seemed like it was a pretty clean game down there. What were your thoughts on the way the game was played and also the way it was refed?
Yeah, definitely. The refs were excellent. You know, not as many sendings out as we're used to having, certainly in the last couple of games. The game was clean, yeah. You know, we're used to playing the Australians now. Obviously, they beat us in the finals last time. So we did try to play it a bit further wider for us to, you know, get the speed in and use our fitness. But what can I say? It just didn't turn out the way we wanted it to.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see on the cameras. One of the things I noticed was 2 very different game plans, but it seemed like when Australia tried to bring it into the middle, you were able to shut that down really well. Is that something that Pete sort of drilled into you, what to expect? You say you're familiar with this team. How did you find setting up to defend against them?
Yeah, we do know that they play quite a flat line when they're attacking and they're just looking for that gap through the middle. So obviously we did try and compensate with that, with filling the middle a bit and doing the 45s off. But yeah, I thought we held the game real well. A lot of respect to Australians, they're a great team and they held the nerve all the way through. Got that last goal.
Okay, thanks very much, Lee. Just before we go, I know it's really late back in the UK and she's probably not up. But is there anything that you'd like to say to Fee and Lucy and Alex at the back there? I know Alex has been falling asleep through your games, but I mean, if he was there for that swim, then he'd have been really proud of Daddy.
Well, that swim couldn't have been possible without Fee and the support she's given me. You know, let me go out there, train, let me do all the hours while she's been looking after the kids. So, love you loads, Fee. Thanks a lot for everything you've done. And Alex, Lucy.
All right, thanks very much, Lee. Best of luck for the rest of the competition. Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow for more of the GB coverage. I'm pretty much at the pool all day. But for now, good night, everybody.